Hey guys, have you ever been working in your PDM vault and wondered how you can issue an SQL stored procedure during a transition? Then today's Q-tip is for you. All right, this one comes to us as a refresher from Kevin Hill of Cumlux Aviation. They do VIP aircraft interiors. And so one of the things we wanted to do was to set up an SQL stored procedure inside SQL Server that can then be called during a transition in PDM's workflow. All right, great thing is that you can issue the command. That you've got to do is make sure that all of the parameters are correct. So if we have this top level assembly and we have a bill of materials here, this bill of materials can be exported to SQL Server. Whenever I transition this assembly through the release transition, I want the bill of materials to be extracted and then put into an SQL table using the stored procedure that I've created. This is the table that I want to store the bill of materials in. It's already got predefined file path configuration, quantity, part number, description. You know the drill. The stored procedure I've created, that's proprietary. That's one that we've created that's going to actually generate this table. All right, now how we're going to do that is by issuing the sqlcmd command. And that will be during the transition. Now, long story short, I'll just jump straight in and we will provide links to the resources of how to find this information in the comments below. Under the Actions tab for this final release transition into released, if I go to this last execute command, double click that, and then what we have is an action. The type is going to be execute command. Run it for files and only run it for solid assembly files. I don't want it to run for parts, drawings, text files, XML, whatever. This will be the SQL command string with the parameters that are needed. Interesting thing is that we issue the SQL CMD, and then the -S is the server, and that's the name of our server, and then the -D is demo PDS, the name of our vault, username is SA, and then you put the password in here. Now, if your security permissions are set up correctly, and as far as groups and users inside your PDM administration tool, no one except the admin should be able to see this anyway, because you don't want general modifications being made to your workflows by just any user. So the credentials would only be shared with a very select few. And then -q. Now the little q is for debugging purposes. And one thing I will caution you about here is that there's really not an interface to debug with. You don't get an error log, you don't get any kind of information back unless you specify with the lowercase q. The large Q tells it to run this command and then exit. The small q tells it to run the command and then wait. So then you'll see the feedback that the window provides you. So if it does provide you with errors, you will get those. You'll see those in that window, the command window. Then in quotes, you're going to put exec, and then I've got the stored procedure name is equivaQ bomb. And then I pass it the parameters, file name, folder path, 0 is the version, default is the configuration, and the admin is the user who would be seeing this. So I've actually got this thing set up that way. And then I pass 2 nulls to it, and then I close quote. I'm using the file name and the folder path from the flyout over here, file name and folder path. File path is the full file path. Folder path is actually what PDM's SQL database needs. It doesn't actually carry the root drive of the vault view. So folder path is what we need here. And then I've just clicked on the box to wait until the started program terminates. And one thing I will say is that I have gone in into the transition where I had in that SQL command string and I had that password in there. I've actually updated it with the actual password. Otherwise, the command won't run. But for security reasons, we didn't show you what our password. Let's go ahead and send this file back to CAD Ready. I only want to highlight the assembly, not any of the rest of the files. Send them back to CAD Ready. Now it's back in the CAD Ready state. Let's go ahead and release this and watch the bill of materials export. Deselect all, only select the assembly, leaving a comment that I'm releasing it and exporting the bomb to SQL. Now once this runs, it's going to pop up a window for me, a command prompt window that will actually show me the lines as it's being added, as the rows are being added to the database. As the transition enters the final step of moving the files to the new state, it's going to say this, and then you're going to see the command window pop up. There we go. There's the rows that were added. 740 rows were added to the database. Because I put the checkbox that says wait until this program is finished, that means I have to close the box before the transition dialog will exit. Then you see the state change dialog go away. Then we'll go back over to SQL Server, refresh the table. There's our data for that bill of materials now inside SQL Server, which can then be used, hint, by an ERP integration where SSIS or SQL Server integration services can then pick up this data to have it consumed elsewhere throughout your value stream. Okay, so today's Q-tip was to show you how to run an SQL stored procedure during a transition in the PDM workflow. Really powerful tool. Hopefully today's Q-tip's been helpful for you. Thanks for watching. Believe in the Q.